Hello and welcome to the WOOLapyk podcast. My name is Ida and this is a podcast about knitting. It's been a while since my last podcast. A lot of things have happened, but it's not really knitting related, and so I think I'm not gonna really get into details about it. It's just been busy, and yeah. I'm also in a different location because we are on holiday in Sweden this week. So it is autumn break. I don't think that's a thing in every country, but it is in Denmark. And we are in Sweden in a little holiday house. Or well, it's not really that little. In a holiday house in the woods. And today is our last day here. Jakob and my boyfriend Jakob and my daughter Esther and my boyfriend's daughter Faya are all taking a nap. I hope they're all taking a nap. And so I thought I would just do a little bit of podcasting because it seemed like I brought some things here with me because I wanted to do a podcast in this house. I thought I would have a lot of time, but as it is, I think when you are traveling with kids, time just seems to disappear magically. So I thought this is our last day, and I just wanted to grab the opportunity because I do have some knitting to show you. I did not bring everything, but I think I brought most of what I've been working on. I also brought some yarn because I wanted to take some product pictures for the shop and for promoting my yarn on Instagram. And the thing is, it's been really fall, like it's been cold, it's raining right now, it's been foggy most days and just really dark. So I have taken some pictures, but last time we were here was last year in the summer, and it was a very hot summer and bright summer, and I got a lot of good pictures. But yeah, because it's dark outside, it's harder to get really nice pictures inside in general. So, but now I have it here and I can show you guys, so that's a good thing. The first thing that I have to show you is almost done. I was not working on it last time I podcasted, I believe. But I've been talking about knitting this pattern for, I don't know, a long time. I've been wanting to knit it for over a year. And I've been showing off some yarn that I wanted to use for it, and then I've decided to use another yarn for it. So here it is. This is the Ranunculus by Knit Cafe Midori. It is a top-down sweater with some texture on the yoke, and this top part here kind of looks a little bit like cables, but it's not. Yeah, it has a little bit of lace detail. It's cropped. This is a one size pattern. There's only one size, so it's supposed to be oversized. I did not swatch for this, and on me it's not oversized, but I think with some serious blocking I can make it a little more oversized, because that's kind of what I want for this sweater. It has several options for a wider neckline or a smaller neckline, and I actually made a wider neckline, but for some reason mine is not really that wide at all. Again, I didn't swatch, so that's probably why. And it's the same thing, you can make it short sleeves or long sleeves, and I made the long version, which is basically you just knit the sleeve, you don't really do any decreases, and then you do the cuff with some short row techniques. Basically the front part of the sleeve is a little further on my arm than the back part. It's like a high-low sleeve, I guess you could call it. I think it's gonna be really pretty. So I have one sleeve done. I am this far in the other sleeve. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the yarn because this yarn is, in my opinion, it's my yarn. So I dye and sell yarn if you are new here. And this is a 75% BFL and 25% Masham in a fingering weight. And it is amazing. It is super lofty and light. I'm actually knitting this with 2 strands knit together, and it still just feels so light and fluffy. And yet it's also very sturdy. So I feel like I haven't worn this yet, so I don't know, but I have a feeling that it's gonna be very hot wearing. Oh, there's my hair. Yeah, and I'm so happy with it. I'm really so pleased with having this in my sort of like one of my main bases in the shop, because I have been shopping around quite a lot, trying out different bases, and I haven't found a non-superwash yarn that wasn't merino, because I have some merino in the yarn in the shop, but that wasn't merino, that was a little bit more rustic and hard wearing, but I didn't want it to be too scratchy because I find that often scares off potential buyers. Yeah, and I feel like this just has everything that I want in a little more of a rustic, non-superwash, woolly yarn, but that is still quite soft, and to me I don't find it scratchy at all. So I'm super happy about that, and I'll be bringing this with me to, I have a couple of knitting shows here in Denmark in November. And this colorway, I don't have a name for it yet, but basically I've knit this sweater with 3 different dye lots of yarn. So the main part here was the first one I dyed, and then I dyed 2 more, because originally I was going to knit this with 1 strand of yarn. The pattern kind of calls for a fingering weight yarn just knit in a very loose gauge, and for me it just didn't work out. So actually the first the neckline is knit with 1 strand of yarn, because I actually did most of the yoke. I think I knit to like this far, and I just didn't like the way it looked with just one strand of yarn. The pattern just didn't show off at all. Like, it didn't pop or anything. You couldn't really see it. I have a picture of it on Instagram. If I remember, I'll put it in on the screen. Otherwise, you can go and have a look on Instagram and see the difference. So the picture on Instagram is where I knitted with just that 1 strand. So I ended up ribbing back just to the end of the ribbing here. And then I added another strand, and I like it a lot better. I'm a little bummed because I wanted to knit this with just 1 strand of yarn, because I'm gonna bring this with me to shows, and obviously if it was knitted with just 1 strand of yarn, there's less yarn to be used, and therefore it would be cheaper to buy a sweater quantity of yarn for this sweater. But now, since I have 2 strands of yarns together, it's obviously more expensive. So I'm a little bummed about that, because I know that having to buy, I think I'm ending up using 4.5 skeins of yarn. So you would basically have to buy 5 skeins of yarn to knit this. If you wanted to knit it with the long sleeved, you could knit it, you would use less obviously if you just made the short sleeve version. So in that perspective, it would have been nice to just have used 1 strand of yarn, because it would be more cost effective for potential buyers who wanted to knit this sweater in the same yarn that I used. You could also knit this with just 1 strand of this BFL Masham, and then a strand of silk mohair. It may be cheaper if you buy a cheaper silk mohair. I don't know, but anyway. So yeah, this is the Ranunculus. I'm so happy with it. I'm actually having to take a little bit of a break because my left hand is like the wrist. I'm a little sore, I think, because I'm knitting with the bigger needles, and I've been knitting a lot on this when we've been driving around here in Sweden for our little trips. So yeah, this will be done next time I podcast for sure. Anyway, I was talking about how I use different kinds of different dye lots, I think, and so going back to the different dye lots that I was talking about, I've used 3 different ones, and you can tell that this is one dye lot, and then down here the color gets a little more bright because I'm adding in another dye lot, and the same thing for the sleeves. You can tell, actually this one is a little stripy now. Wow, it's not as obvious when you look at it off screen, I would say, but you can still see there's a different dye lot here, a little striped, and the same thing here. I think this is another dye lot. This is just one single skein. It's not that obvious, but something to think about when you buy yarn, which I'm sure most of you know, to always get the same dye lot. Okay, so my next work in progress, which is basically also finished, I just need to add an elastic, and it's been done for 2 months now, which is just so stupid. Anyway, so my next thing is the lace pants by Knitting for Olive. I've been talking about these at a lot of previous episodes because I knit another pair for my daughter and she didn't like them. They were scratchy, so I now knit this out of a 100%. Now I've knit this out of a 100% silk, mulberry silk, I think, from Knitting for Olive. And if you saw my previous episode, I was knitting it with a sort of plum purple colored yarn, and I ended up dyeing it, so now it's brown. And I just wanted something that was a little more neutral for her. These are for my daughter. Something that would go with a lot of clothes, and I think I've also just fallen a little out of love with that particular colorway, so I thought that a nice brown would be perfect for her. And she's worn this. I just tried them on her without the elastic, and she didn't complain about any itchiness. She doesn't say that it's itchy. She will say that it is poking her, which is quite funny. So yeah, I just need the elastic, and she can wear this now in fall and winter. So, but they're quite long. She'll turn 3 tomorrow, but she's on the smaller side, so I think they'll be fine for the fall and also for the spring, and maybe with a pair of tights underneath as well. So yeah, lace pants from Knitting for Olive. Did I bring anything else? Oh yes, I have one more thing that I'm working on, which is let me show you. This little leg, isn't it cute? So this is a leg for a doll, again for my daughter, and it was supposed to be for her 3rd birthday, which obviously, like I said, it's tomorrow, so it's not gonna happen, or not gonna be ready for her birthday. So I think it's probably gonna be a Christmas present for her instead, or maybe an Advent present, depending on how far I get with this. So this is the first leg, and I just cast on for the second one. Oop. Here. The pattern for this doll is from a Norwegian knitting book that's called Knitted Dolls, or strikkedukker in Danish. And so I'm sort of using that as a template because they are knitting everything, so they have the head and hair and everything are knitted too. But I've ordered a Waldorf head. That sounds kind of more dramatic than it is. But I've ordered like a head for a Waldorf doll from a lady who makes them. And I want that to be sort of the head of the doll, and then I want the body and arms and legs to be knitted, and I was knitting the original pattern from the book, and I was just knitting the foot, and it just seemed a little too small for the head, so I didn't want the head to be too big for, you know, in comparison with the body. And so I ripped it up, and I have added more stitches. The thing is, I did not write it down because, I don't know, I'm just really bad at doing things like that. I always think that I will remember what I did, and I never do. So I think this is too small. I'm going to knit the heel, so basically going to knit the foot, and then we're gonna try and stuff it. I'm stuffing it with this organic wool that I got. It's super nice. And see if it looks like it's the same size. I really hope it is, otherwise I'll have to rip it back and see if I can get the same foot as the first one. Yeah, so like this is the leg. I'm using a leftover from last year's advent, which is, this is called Snowman, if you can tell. It is a cream base with some browns and blues and a little bit of pink in there. Next up, I have a little bit of a review for you guys, because I was contacted in the beginning of this summer by Trine Påskesen, which is a Danish designer, knitwear designer, and she asked if she could send a copy of her new children's knitting book, a knitwear book, to me. I feel like it's been a long time since I've been talking in English. This is a little clip to the future. It's now two weeks later, and I'm back in Denmark. And I was looking through this podcast that you're watching, and the next part, which I'm cutting out and replacing with this part, hopefully, was just very long and rambly, and I just wanted to short it down and make it a little more precise. I hope it's going to be a little more precise. So what I'm going to talk about is this book that I got from Trine. And Trine is a designer and the author behind this book. It is a book that I got as a gift, and she gave me another copy that I could give away to you guys. It's in Danish, but everyone can participate. It's beautiful, so even if you don't read Danish, it's worth having on your coffee table, in my opinion. It's got really beautiful pictures. Yeah, it's called Little One, or Lille Du, but in English I would say Little One. Sort of a term of endearment. And it is knitting patterns for children ages 0 to 4 years old. So babies too, obviously. And it's got beautiful cover. Look at this illustration. It has got beautiful illustrations. Look at this too. I think it's so pretty. And yeah, obviously the picture of Trine. And then it has a lookbook, which I really, really enjoy that looking through. So it has the lookbook where you can see all the patterns in the book. And the pictures are, I really like the pictures in this book. I have Trine's other book, which is called Nordic. And it's a beautiful book too, but I definitely prefer the pictures in this book. I feel like, I don't know, just something about the atmosphere, and I also feel like they're not quite as dark as the other pictures in the other book. Yeah, so it has the introduction, it has the lookbook, and then in the back it has all the patterns. And the patterns are mainly garments, which I really appreciate. So there are cardigans, sweaters, leggings, tights, and then it has one bonnet and one hat, and I think one pair of gloves, but mostly garments, which is what I mostly like to knit for Esther. There are some tights here. So in this larger sizes, they are tights, and then in the smaller sizes, the baby sizes, you can make them as tights. I mean, the larger sizes are leggings and the smaller sizes are tights, and I really appreciate that you sort of can make it your own depending on, you know, your child or what you prefer or what your child prefers. So it's sort of a 2-in-1. So this is one of them. The other one I actually had somebody knit up for me because I wanted to bring it to some different markets that I'm going to with my yarn. So this is the other pattern, and I can't remember, what is this called? They are called Lyng, and I just think they're so pretty. This is the size 3 months old, and they are so cute. Look at this. And it has an I-cord up here, but you could also add an elastic if you wanted to. I guess that's whatever you prefer. So she has Lyng tights, and then she also has them as leggings. Maybe I can find a picture so you can see what they look like as leggings. Just here they are in legging form. She also has the sphere, which is a pattern that's made to grow with the child, which I think is genius. So you can see here they are on a larger child, and see, here they are on a smaller child. And then the smaller child, they are way higher up on the body, so almost right under her arms. And then as the child grows, the pants will just sort of move further and further down along the body. And I think it's genius. Obviously you can't knit a size 3 months old and then have it fit a 4-year-old, but it will at least be something that the child can wear for more than just a season, because of both of the feature up here, but also because it's got cuffs. So you start by folding the cuff up, and then as the child grows, you fold it down. I wanted to knit this for Esther, but then I thought she's potty trained now, and she's actually really good at going to the potty. But I feel like if she wore these, she wouldn't be able to do it on her own, because it's got the suspenders. You see here in the back. She would not be able to figure this out on her own. So yeah, I'm not gonna make them. I thought maybe I could make them without the suspenders. I guess that would be a possibility too, but yeah, I really like these. I think they're a very clever thought when she made these. I am also going to, I have written a couple of patterns down that I want to knit for Esther, so I'm just going to show you those. This one, which is a baklava, I think it's called in English. It's called an elephant hat in Danish. I have no clue why, but that's what we call it. And it basically has a cowl built into the hat, and it's a very common thing for Danish children to wear these hats. I think all Danish kids wear or own a hat like this. So I think it has a beautiful texture on there, but I'm going to knit it just in stockinette stitch because I just like having stockinette stitch to knit on. So and the pattern says that you can do either, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm using a very soft yarn from WOOLapyk because she's very sensitive suddenly to wool, so I hope that she will wear this. I have a headband that I made out of this wool that she wears for fun at home, so I hope that means that she will also wear this hat since it's the same yarn. I'm also going to knit stjerneskud for Esther at some point. At least that's my plans. all the knitting plans. It also comes as a cardigan. Like I said, or maybe I didn't say that, I can't remember, but she uses the same stitch patterns for a variety of garments through this book, and I like that too. So it's not just one pattern used for one garment, or one stitch pattern used for one garment. For example, I have another thing knit up for me, or for well, it's gonna be for Esther once the shows are gone, but this is the sweater. Has just a very simple pattern on there. I think Trine is really good at making simple textures on her knitwear. I really think she adds texture, but she doesn't overdo it. It's not too much. It's still simple, which I like. I really appreciate simple knitwear. So this is the sweater version with this stitch pattern, and then she also has a pair of bloomers, as you can see right there. Actually, that's the sweater right there, and then has the bloomers here. So she does that pretty much throughout the book. I use vests a lot on Esther, and I don't really think there are a lot of designers that makes vests, except for Line Holm Samsø. If you like knitting vests for kids, she has some really good ones. But Trine also made this vest here, which I'm not gonna knit this. It's pretty, but I'm just not, I don't have brain space for doing these things at the moment. But it's super pretty, and I really like that she has thought of that to be a part of the collection in the book. One last thing that I wanted to show you that I also really like. Look at these. It has a little ruffle at the top. I think they're so sweet. I would say that these are the only thing that is for girls. You obviously decide yourself what you want to call girls or boy things, but the rest of the patterns in this book are completely unisex in my opinion, and I really think that's, I have a girl, so for me it's not a problem. I can basically knit anything for her. But I feel like there are a lot of patterns that mostly cater to girls, or what we as a society think are meant to be for girls. But this book has patterns that works for both genders. This was definitely quicker than my previous recording, so I am very happy about that. The book is, one thing actually, most of the stitches in this, most of the patterns in this book are made with a gauge that's 27 stitches per 10 centimeters. And I think if I were to say one thing that I would have loved to also have in this book, it would be a pattern or a sweater or a cardigan with a chunky gauge, and a chunky gauge, so like 15 stitches per 10 centimeters, something that's like cozy, warm, quick to knit. I think that's the only thing I am missing from this book. Other than that, I feel like it's just a very usable book with some simple and beautiful patterns with beautiful textures. So, and also just worthy of having laying on your coffee table as a coffee table book. I'll look at the back here. It's a cute picture. Yeah, I think in order to participate, you just need to leave me a comment in the comment box below, and you don't really have to tell me anything. Well, if you could tell me where you're from in the world, that would be super nice. I always wonder about that, like who are watching this show. I have a feeling that it's a lot of Americans. I don't think that there are a lot of Danish people watching this podcast. Mostly because I am from Denmark, I'm Danish, but I do speak English. So that would be quite interesting. If you don't mind, then just leave a comment telling me where you're from, which country are you from. If you don't want to do that, you can also just leave me a comment saying hello. That would be fine too. You're eligible. The book is in Danish, obviously. But everyone are more than welcome to participate, and I will ship to whoever wins worldwide in the world, all over the world. And I will draw a winner sometime around next time I podcast, which shouldn't be too long. I hope it won't be. So a little bit of a talk about hand-dyed yarn in my shop. It's not going to be long. If you're not interested, thank you so much for watching. But since I brought this here to take pictures of it, I thought I may as well show you. So this is I actually have these as well. This is my 50% silk, 50% non-superwash merino base. Very, very soft. Very suitable for baby knits, for kids knits, or for example for my daughter who is very itchy at the moment for some reason. It has such a nice shine, which I think you can probably tell from here. And I have been playing around with doing semi-solids, which I haven't really done, but which I am just getting more and more drawn to. So I have, this one is it called burnt caramel? I can't remember. I really like this one. It's like a brownish, golden, caramelly color. And then I have, so I've been trying to do a little bit of a collection of semi-solids that I thought would go nicely on their own, but also would go quite nice together. And I'm not quite done yet. I have a few other colors that I want to add. I really would like to add a very dark blue to this, and also a gray. I think that would be nice as well. And then I have these, so I'm going to show you what I have so far. This one is a avocado dyed, so it's not gonna be a regular in the sense that they're all gonna be this color because it's naturally dyed. But the others are, I don't know if you can tell. I really like these colors together. I feel like they're just, so we have the more calmer colors, which is these. I don't have names for them, so maybe you have perfect names for some of them, let me know. I feel like they are a little calmer, cooler, and then if you want to do some color work, something like that, stripes, I wanted to add some puffs, and these two are gonna be the two color puffs that I want to bring into the collection. So yeah, I'm really, really happy about these. And then, you know, imagine like the really dark blue and a gray. I think it's gonna be so pretty. I have Holbæk Strikke Festival in the beginning of November, and then I have Fiberfolk that I'm organizing together with Jakob, my boyfriend, and that is on November 9th, and I'm going to be bringing these colors to both of these events, and then I may put them up in my shop afterwards, but they're not going to be in my shop beforehand just because I don't know how much I'm going to sell, and yeah. So that's just a little introduction or reintroduction to this base, because it's, like I said, it's been it hasn't really been part of my yarn bases for I think half a year or so, but now I have it back in stock and I'm really happy about that, and I think a lot of you guys are happy about it too. I've been having people asking for this specific base at a couple of knitting events that I've been at, so I'm really happy to bring it back with me. That is it for now. I have been a little scattered today, but I hope I made sense, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you want to participate in this giveaway, do leave me a comment. I think I'm going to throw in a little skein of yarn as well. That would be quite nice, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'm gonna throw in a little bit of yarn as well. So you can win this book and you can win some yarn. And just all you have to do is leave me a comment below telling me where you're from or whatever you fancy, basically. And I will talk to you pretty soon, I hope. Bye.